miss you, yeah, I miss you.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel with me, Lauren. So today I'm going to be doing a story time of when I went camping with my best friend Ellie in her garden with her sister and her sister's friend, and something really dramatic happened and everything just went super wrong. So basically I just found out how to put the thumbnail onto the video, so make sure you check the thumbnails out because they are super fun to make and I enjoy making them. So yeah, also make sure you give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and turn the notification bell on. Comment down below what other videos you'd like me to do, and yeah, so we're gonna get straight into the video. I'm just gonna say I'm sorry for how deep my voice is, but I just noticed how dead this plant is. My mum bought this for me like a couple of weeks ago and I thought it was fake, so I didn't really water it and it died. And clearly my mum's watered it and all the water is so like melon. I swear there is some tadpoles in there somewhere. So this plant is super disgusting and will not live much longer in my special corner over here. So bye bye plant, have a nice life. Okay guys, so let's get straight into the story. So it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and me and Ellie were making tarts. I know, random but very tasty. And basically we were talking about, oh, I should come and have a sleepover at your house tonight. I said, because my mum's going out and I'd like you to sleep around mine, but it's just not possible. It was like, yeah, okay, you should come, but there's nowhere for us to sleep. And I was like, oh. And she was like, yeah, because my sister, Sienna, is coming around and her friend Erin is also coming around. And we were like, oh, okay. Then Ellie just went, oh, we should sleep in the garden. And I was like, yeah. and then she was like, I got a tent. And then I was like, oh, I can take my little tent as well as an extension. And we're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be so cool. And then Ellie got a text from her sister saying, oh, you're sleeping in the garden. And Ellie put, yeah. And Sienna put back, oh, so we then. And Ellie lost the plot. Like, she was seriously going to go off on one. So I spoke to Sienna and said, oh, it's okay. You have that tent and we will take our tent and go into, like, a different area. And she was like, oh, sure, there's enough space. And I was like, no, it's fine. Ellie's not happy about it, so we're just sleeping in a separate tent. So I was like, okay, that's fine. That was all sorted. And I brought those mattress sheets and loads of pillows and blankets and stuff. And we crammed it into her nan's car at 4:30. And we couldn't fold the tent up because we'd taken it out to check how big it is. And Ellie was like, I said to Ellie, I don't know how to unfold this. It's physically and mentally impossible. And so we plopped it out and it folded up. And we're like, oh, that's easy. And I was like, I don't know how to fold it away. And she was like, oh, it's okay, we'll work it out. So we put it up and we were like, oh, that's pretty big. And then as we went to put it away, we couldn't put it away and we were cramming it in. And he was like, I'm really sorry, I have to call Sienna because like she's really annoying me right now and I just want to sleep in this tent. So I was like, oh, okay. And there's me cramming a tent in a corner, which wasn't actually that easy. And I still couldn't get it up and it took about an hour. Then the timer on the oven went off because we were cooking tarts and like everything was just going so wrong. And then we realised it was 4 o'clock and her nan was picking us up at 4:30. So we took it all and then we just got it all organised, shoved it in the nan's car and then it started to chuck it down with rain and we thought, great, we can't even sleep in the garden. So we got to Ellie's house, we took it all out and put it in her kitchen where for the next hour her dog sat in it. Very amusing. And then Ellie's mum was like, if it doesn't stop raining, you can't sleep outside. And we were like, and Ellie was like, okay. And so luckily we crossed our fingers and it did stop raining after a slice of pizza and 4 chips. Yeah, and so we got the tent outside and we were like, okay, it's really easy to set up. Ellie's mum said, I'm not going to give you a mattress because you won't fit in that thing. And Ellie was just like, oh. And so we walked out into the garden and we sat in that tent like protesters with just blankets and sheets around us going, and we were like, we generally look like we are just living in your garden right now. And we both started laughing and putting on like really sad music. And then Sienna's granddad came out and said, oh, we'll sort something out. And then Ellie went in. They took the tent back out and they put it into Sienna's tent. And at first Ellie wasn't too sure about it. And then we pulled the tent out the side of it and we put it onto like an extension and put all the sheets over the top and put everything in there nicely how we wanted it and stuff. And it turned out really good. We had some flashlights, we found some torches in the garage. and we were just like, yeah, this works fine. So we got in the tent, and we were just sitting there, and we were like, it's getting pretty dark, and it's just like nothing to do. And so we walked outside, and we went into Ellie's room, and we were like, can we go in the hot tub? She's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And so we literally ran to the garage, chucked our swimming costumes on, but we were trying to put our swimming costumes on so that Ellie's sister didn't know, because we didn't want all of us in the hot tub. Me and Ellie just wanted some time to like chill in the hot tub and stuff. So we were like sat in the garage for like 30 minutes whilst them two were outside, just on the trampoline. We were like, it's pretty cold in here, and we're going to end up surviving on Ben and Jerry's. Not that that's a bad thing. And so we finally plucked up the courage. We just went out, and they were like, oh, you're going to the hot tub? And we were like, yeah. And then they were like, oh, we're coming in too then. And Eddie was like, no, Sienna, you can come in after. She was like, oh, okay. So me and Ellie got in, and we were in there for about 15 minutes at the very most, because we didn't realise how hot it was until we stood up and steam was coming off us. So we were like, okay, it's way too hot, let's just get out. So we got out, got back dressed again, like into our pyjamas, and went into the tent. We sat in the tent for about another hour, and it was getting really, really cold. And obviously Sienna's tent was kind of like a foyer bit here and then the big bit here, and they were sleeping in the big bit. The foyer bit was just out, and then our tent, little miniature, like, it was literally like this. Sorry, this is totally bad. It was literally like the size of that, and then it was like that. And so we crawled inside of this like mini hole which had no heating in it, and we were like cramped up with like 7 different duvets, a double duvet, and everything. We were like so we bought our like dressing gown, slippers, and everything, and we shoved it all on us, and we were just sitting there laughing about on our phones and stuff, even though there was no Wi-Fi. And then I was like, Ellie, there's a reflection of a snail on the tent, and I was like, are you making that with like your phone? She was like, no. And I was like, there's another one. Oh my god, another one. And we went, and we both have a phobia of snails. Like, I hate snails. Like, ugh. And so we both sprinted out of tent, screaming. Went up to, sorry, that light turned off. Went up to like the top of her decking / patio bit. And Sienna came out. She was like, "What's wrong, Ellie? What's wrong? Stop screaming!" And we're like, "There's loads of snails on our tent." And so she went round to the side. She's not scared or anything. And she took the torch, and she was like, "Oh my god, there's hundreds of them." So she's like flicking them all off and putting them on the floor, and they're like crawling back up. And then it's like, Sienna, don't just put them on the floor, throw them. And so she threw one, and it smacked the fence. And it was like really hard. And they were getting in our tent, because obviously our tent had holes in it, because we only had a sheet covering over the top of it, and there were like holes in between our 2 tents. So they were like all coming into our tent, and we're like, we're not sleeping with a family of snails. And so Sienna said, right, come in with us. And Eddie was like, no, Sienna. And then Sienna went like, oh, okay, you can sleep inside. And she was like, no, I'm not sleeping inside. I said, Eddie, just get in the tent with Sienna, like, if we're going to sleep outside. So we grabbed all our bits and got into Sienna's tent. And then basically we were in there for about 3 minutes whilst Sienna's like dragging everything out, and then I'm like, snail. So we're like picking up snails out and throwing them all out everywhere. And then Ellie turns around and she's like, what's that smell? And she picks up our double duvet, which is now covered in what was now melted Ben & Jerry's ice cream, which had melted consistently all over the tent. And we would pick the duvet and we're like, oh my god, we can't even sleep here anymore. And so we sat there for about a minute going, I'm not sleeping in it. And Sienna's like, come on, it's not that bad. And we're like, I can't sleep in Ben & Jerry's, it stinks. So we grabbed all our duvets, grabbed everything that we owned, all the food. The food was like the priority at this point. We grabbed everything and just ran inside. And Ellie's mum was like, what are you doing? And we're like, we can't sleep out there, it's medically impossible. And she was like, why? And I was like, well, because there's snails all over the tent and the Ben & Jerry's is melted. And she was like, oh. So we then ended up, so we took all our duvets in, and Ellie's kitchen's kind of like this. So it has the kitchen is like here, so there's a fridge here, kitchen area there. It's like a bench and table here, tables here, and living room's over here. And Sienna and Erin sit up there, like just duvets and pillows over behind the sofa, over in the living room. And me and Ellie thought, okay, Ellie was like, I'm still not sleeping anywhere near Sienna. So we slept over near the kitchen. which is like, there's like a bench. So we set our pillows up on that, and we were just thinking like, oh my god. And Ellie's dad came in, like he was not very happy, and he went outside and he brought everything in, and then he threw the tent in the bin, which was now ruined. And then me and Ellie were like, okay. So we laid down and we were just talking, and I'm like, I'm not tired. She's like, neither am I. And so then we thought, okay, right, do you know what, let's just go to sleep. No, let's not go to sleep. She went, let's just turn over. I said, let's just turn over for 5 minutes. We ended up kind of like passing out whilst turning over, and then I fell asleep. So Ellie's pillows were like, so there was like a decking kind of chair pillow and then her pillow, whereas mine was just 2 normal pillows, and my pillow slid under the bench with my head still attached to it. And I woke up 3 times in the night. The first time I woke up, I brought my head up and smacked my head on the bench. So I moved the pillows up, and I'd done this 3 times during the night. And so basically, I was just stuck doing that for about the next 3 hours. I woke up in the morning, smacked my head on the bench. Sienna and Erin were already up, and I was like, oh my god. And they were like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And they were, why? And they were like, because you just smacked your head on a bench. And I was like, oh yeah. And so we all got up and we all had like a waffle for breakfast. And then we all started going. Sorry about that. So we all started going, like getting ready and eating breakfast and stuff. And then Ellie was like, oh, can we go to the park? And Ellie's mum was like, yeah, I'm going out in a minute to work, but yeah, you totally can because your nan's still here. So we all got really ready. I was wearing a strapless jumpsuit at the time, which is I wore in my first video. I was like, I can't go to the park in this. So Ellie lent me a pair of leggings, and I wore my Love Island t-shirt. And we got about halfway to the park, and Ellie got a call from my mum saying, you got to come back because Nan's going to the hairdressers. And he was like, oh, we'll be back before she goes. And Ellie's mum was like, no, come back now. So we got all the way back, and then at that point we were kind of just sick and tired of doing whatever we were doing. So we went into Ellie's bedroom and started watching The Kissing Booth, which then ended on a half note because Ellie's nan had to leave. And then by the time my mum had turned up, I think that was the first time I'd gone camping, and I'm pretty sure it's the last. Because I don't mind doing glamping happily. Camping, not for me, I don't think. And I don't think I'd do it again. I'd happily do it like indoors or maybe outdoors when it hasn't rained. But apart from that, I think I'm sleeping inside. So that was basically my camping experience. I got home late that day, my hair stunk, and I had a bath, and I sat around for the rest of the day. So that was pretty much, yeah, so that was my my worst camping experience ever, and possibly my last experience. So guys, if you want to see more story times, make sure you comment down below more and give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and go check out my Instagram and Snapchat and get those streaks up with me. So guys, that's pretty much the end. And I'll see you next time. Bye!
My phone